evening and welcome to Meticulous Moments. My name is Juanita Kapp. You can reach me at meticulousmacarons@gmail.com or find me on LinkedIn. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the globe, I've had the wonderful privilege to meet a wide array of fantastic individuals. These individuals have truly touched my life in so many positive ways. Amongst this group of people, there are authors, public speakers, life coaches, poets, leaders, and visionaries. They are the unsung heroes of our time. Therefore, I decided to start the Meticulous Moments movement out of a sense of my gratitude. It is my way of giving back to the community. Let us share and reshare their stories in an effort to build a better society. This evening we have the wonderful privilege of spending time with the amazing, heartfelt, heart-centered leader, Patty Luu. A little bit more about Patty. Patty Luu is a performance enhancement consultant and she's the director at Driven to Peak Consulting. Patty has a wonderful skill set and a wide array of knowledge in many aspects of the sports world. She works with athletes. She helps them to conquer their limiting belief systems. She helps them to excel and to exceed. And we just had a wonderful interview discussing the topic of leadership. Look forward to this interview. It was truly exceptional. And with that, we want to welcome our special guest. Welcome, Patty Luu. Good evening, Meticulous Moments audience. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another vibrant session at the Meticulous Moments podcast, where we facilitate community upliftment through leadership development. And this evening, we have the wonderful privilege of spending time with the amazing Patty Luu. How are you, Patty? Welcome.
Yes, I'm good. How about yourself?
I am so blessed to have you here. We had a wonderful virtual coffee together. I could just see that Patty just has a heart of gold, and I invited her onto the podcast. So Patty, I know you. I feel like I actually know you longer than I have because we just got along so naturally. But would you like to just introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Yes. My name is Patty Luu. I'm from the United States in Virginia. I am a sports mental performance coach. I increase your children's chances to get an athletic scholarship for college and or to go pro by avoiding burnout by using sports psychology.
I find that super interesting. In our conversation, there were so many pointers that you brought out. There were so many tips. And I just think you are phenomenal. Now, in the world of sports mental performance, because you have a master's degree in sports psychology, please tell us, what is that about? Give us some information on that.
Okay, think about it. Your children's performance or an athlete's performance is a combination of physical and mental. And in the current sports world, all the attention is dedicated to the physical. What do I mean by that? The private sports skills coach to teach the athlete physical sports skills, the personal trainer, the nutritionist. However, parents and athletes have neglected the second part of your athletic performance that plays a huge role in their athletic performance overall, which is the mental, which is what sports psychology covers. Think about it. Your athletes' minds are responsible for their dedication to the game, burnout prevention, preventing injury, preventing overtraining, focus, nerves, routines, habits, performance anxiety, nerves, keeping calm under pressure. And no matter how well your athlete is performing right now, they can always perform better And all those things I just mentioned, that's sports psychology techniques.
I absolutely love it. And all those aspects that you've mentioned are so vitally important. Now that my children and I, we are athletes, we all do karate. And I've seen, you've listed the nerves, you've listed the performance anxiety, you've listed the burnout. Let me tell you, audience, I've been at that stage of burnout, and it's not fun. And it actually takes you so long just to get back to where you were, when you start recovering before the burnout. So Patty does a very, very important job because she helps to prevent that. And I love how you ended that answer. You said, no matter how well they are performing at the moment, they can always perform better. I absolutely love that. That's wonderful.
Yes, because parents and athletes, they don't even start thinking about me until things go wrong, or if the athlete is in a slump, or they announce that they want to quit sports. Then they think of hiring someone like me to try to reverse the decision. And by that time, it's too late. The athlete is even more stubborn than usual. I much rather get the athlete when they're performing well. That way I can help them soar. Because think about it, there are pressures related to performing well. The pressure to get better and the pressure to maintain.
I love that. And I agree with you. Prevention is better than cure. And from the get-go, athletes have to have help, from you, because they don't want to get to that point. Now, performance anxiety is a big thing. I remember when I started karate 6 years ago and martial arts, I had performance anxiety. I knew the moves. I knew what to do. I knew what they meant as I do now, but performing them, I was fine in a big class. If we all did it, I was fine. But the moment I had to do, what we call showtime, I would get nervous because everybody would then sit on the sides and look specifically at you now doing that kata or working with that weapon. And I remember that performance anxiety the first initial time. Now I've progressed in my martial arts. I'm used to it now. I thank my dojo for helping me grow in that aspect. But how often does that occur, and how do athletes deal with that?
Yes. The younger athletes that I've worked with, they tell me when I have a lot of people watching me, I get nervous. Or I start having anxiety, and I'm like, this tells me your focus is not where it is supposed to be. Your focus is not supposed to be on the number of people watching you. Your focus, even when there is a lot of people watching you, your focus is not supposed to be there. You are supposed to focus on yourself and what you need to perform well to give yourself the best chance of achieving the outcome that you want to achieve. By you telling me you're nervous, that other people are watching you, that tells me you are not focusing on the things you need to focus on.
Yeah. Good. So you help them to fix that focus. You help them to forget about all the other people watching them and to focus on the task at hand and their performance. I love that. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, most athletes, and we discussed this on Thursday, and I actually watched a movie just before you and I had our session, and the movie was called Just Right, WRIGHT, because it was someone's surname. And it was about this athlete that was a basketball player in the movie, and he hurt his knee. And when it was time for the playoffs, he had already been through all the physiotherapy. But when he was in the playoffs in the first round, he didn't trust his knee So he didn't give his all. And, playoffs are very important to make the team. And how his therapist talked to him and said, well, you can trust your knee, it's healed. It won't give in again. You've done the work. You are. So I was talking with you, and you mentioned the fact that athletes reach a slump at some point in their career. How do you help them to avoid that slump or that injury or something like that?
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to a slump, they're focusing on the things they shouldn't focus on. I get them back to, what were you focusing on when things were going well? You were focusing on this, and this. And now you're in a slump. You're focusing on this, and this. And you're telling yourself, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to mess up. That it is over before you even take that shot. Try that putt. Or whatever you do in whatever sport, you're thinking about a negative outcome, and then it sort of becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whereas when you were performing well, you were focusing on, I'm going to make this. You weren't hesitating. You weren't overthinking. You just let it fly. Instead of trying to guide it and control the outcome, you just let it happen.
Amazing. Getting into that flow, just going with it, trusting your instincts, trusting your talent and the work that you've put in. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, to have a tenacious spirit, I think, is very important in sports. And I call it that. I call it a tenacious spirit because I've had that journey for 6 years, and it really, you have to motivate yourself constantly to keep doing better. You have to motivate yourself to be at all the classes that you can be. You have to eat right. You have to practice and exercise, not only during the week, but at home as well. Get enough sleep, drink enough water, all the basic things. But how can athletes develop a tenacious spirit in their field of sport? How do you encourage them to do that?
Well, it's very easy for athletes to forget about their strengths and their accomplishments. And when they burn out, that's one of the things, those are the first two things they forget about. What they love most about the game, how they originally got involved in the game, what they love most about it, what are they great at. So when they need to become resilient, they need to focus on their accomplishments and what they have achieved. They're quick to focus on what they messed up on, what they haven't achieved, that they forgot what they have achieved, and they get themselves in trouble by only focusing on their failures and their weaknesses.
Yeah. So really focusing on the positive makes them want to continue, want to be good, want to stay on top. I want to ask you, Patty, what do you say to the clients who want a quick fix to problems that they face? Because you and I had a lovely discussion, and we were talking about, and you mentioned that there are people that want quick fixes, and I see it in the ministry with counseling as well. Everything is so fast-paced in society. People come to church, they have the certain problem, they think in their mind, no, it's going to be 2 sessions and then the problem will be fixed, and there they'll go. And I always tell them, the church is not a drive-through. You can't drive through the church and say you want to order 2 sessions and you're going to be fine, you'll pay. So tell me, Patty, how does that work?
Yes. Parents, athletes, and even sometimes sports coaches, they love to use sports psychology, believing that it's a quick fix. Sports psychology does not help your athletes fix something immediately. Like the impact is not immediate because it takes time, effort, and practice. Just like the physical sports skills you can perform in your sleep, sports psychology techniques like that take time, practice, and effort to apply every day to become great at, where you can automatically do it without thinking this is something extra added to your daily sports routine.
Beautiful, beautiful answer. Thank you so much. And again, audience, there is no quick fix. It takes time to teach yourself how to think and act the right way, how to adopt healthy habits, because we have something called muscle memory, and our bodies tend to want all the things that we are not supposed to do and have. It wants those things. So that's where the focus and the training comes in by Patty. And I value what Patty does because she fulfills a very important role. Now, we also talked about the fact that athletes wait too long before they contact you.
Yes.
I mean, they wait until there's a problem. So
Yes.
how would you bring it to light for them that they should not do that? They should reach out sooner. Please elaborate on that for us.
Yes, like it really drives me crazy when I see potential athletes, like their parents and athletes. The common reason I get for them not to get on a free 20-minute first session with me is that the lack of time. Well, that tells me things are going well and you don't see the need for sports psychology. Well, in order for you to experience success and more success in your athletic careers, sports psychology will help you do that. I'm happy that things are going well. I'm not wishing any athlete that things go bad or they get into a slump. I'm happy that things are going well, but by using sports psychology, we can keep it going well and continue to help you become a better player.
Amazing answer. I love the positivity. I love the confidence, and I agree. Don't wait until it's too late or until you are past the point of no return. Do it now. And Patty, you also mentioned something. You mentioned, and I didn't make a note of that, but you mentioned 2 other therapists that they go to first, or 2 other service members before they reach you. Please explain that to us so that we can understand that dynamic.
Yes, I've gotten on a lot of virtual coffee chats with parents of athletes, and based on what they tell me, they prioritize the physical side of sports, as I mentioned earlier. They are quick to hire that private sports skills coach for to strengthen their children's sports skills. They are quick to hire the private personal trainer for extra sessions to strengthen the body. However, when they come to me, they're like, no time, no money. Well, it is not true. You made time for extra physical sports skills sessions. You made time for extra sessions with the personal trainer to strengthen your body. You have money for those 2 extra people. You have money for me, and I could cost less than those people. Yeah.
That's a good and refreshing way to look at it, because what does it help if the athlete is absolutely phenomenally fit, in the tip-top shape, and everything's being done correctly, but they don't have that mental, veracity that they need to excel and exceed. So that is a very important point. And I believe that if you really put your mind to it, you do find the time and you do have the money to contract someone. Please elaborate for us in our next question, the common misconception that having a sports psychologist or having even any type of therapist, especially what you do as well, having a sports mental performance coach such as yourself, why is there a misconception that when you have someone like you, a sports mental performance coach, that you are weak? Who said that, and where does that come from? Because it's not true.
Yes, I am not in the mental health field. By mental health, I mean that I don't diagnose and treat mental health illnesses. I don't do that. I focus on improving performance by using
Beautiful.
sports psychology. However, the stigma related to mental health in that a person is weak or that something is wrong with them, athletes, parents of athletes, sports coaches hesitate to work with me. They believe that hiring a person and working with a person like me means that they are weak or that something is wrong with them. That is far from the truth. Working
Yes.
with me means that you are giving yourself an unfair advantage over
Yes.
other athletes who don't use sports psychology. You just desire to get better and improve your athletic performance.
Absolutely phenomenal answer. You'll gain the unfair advantage, and by that we mean in a good way. You'll have that advantage above others because you are working on your mental performance as well, and it influences every single other part. I always tell people that we are body, soul, and spirit. We have to look at all parts of ourselves. I had an interview this week with John Davis Jr., and he is a coach and he helps a lot of people. And I can see Patty knows him. And
Yes,
you know,
he's a newly certified personal trainer.
you see, Patty knows him. I mean, that's just phenomenal, Patty. I'm giving you a virtual high five. I actually didn't know. Thank you. I didn't know that you knew him. But you know what he told me, Patty? He said that he has a therapist and he has a coach because he realizes the value in having those other opinions in his life. And I think that's also relating to what you are saying today.
Yes, I always tell parents and athletes, my magic sauce is I'm able to get the athletes to listen to me.
Beautiful.
And they will. Parents tell me that all the time. If I say something, their kid will listen versus they can say it until the cows come home and their kid will never listen. But all it takes is me saying it, they will listen.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I mean, you really have a captivating way of working with people, and I would really, to the audience, anyone thinking of getting the services that Patty offers, please do so. I mean, you can reach out to her, and she is going to just help you with everything that you are struggling with. She's going to assist you in every arena of her expertise. I want to ask you, Patty, what is the difference? And I love to ask this question because I've had a lot of interesting conversation with other athletes as well and other people that are in the martial arts industry and in that field. What is the difference between a gold medalist and a silver medalist?
Oh, gosh, yes. Yes, I would say the brain. The brain is responsible for that thin margin of error. There's silver medalists made one or two more mistakes than the gold medalists. And
Yes.
those one or two mistakes could have been prevented by using sports psychology. It's one
Yes.
or two mistakes.
That is a great answer. And if you think about it, that is just that. The gold medalist has made, less mistakes than the silver medalist. I actually know some of the people that compete with us. And when they went in 2019 to the nationals with us, they didn't achieve the things they set out they would achieve. And then through COVID, they kind of went through this lovely upliftment. They worked on themselves mentally, and when they went back this year in 2022, they actually went and they got their medals because they worked on the way that they approached the tournament and on the way they thought about, being in the tournament. So thank you for that lovely answer. I appreciate it.
Yes, because I remember, I watched the Olympic Games, and it's sometimes painful to see the one or two mistakes that cost athletes, especially in individual sports, those one or two mistakes.
Yeah. You mentioned something important. Individual sports, I think, is a whole different ball game than having a sport where there's a whole team, where everybody relies on each other. And I think there's pros and cons to individual sports. I think there's good points and interesting points that are commendable, but then there's also the parts that makes it a little bit more difficult than a team sport.
Yes, first of all, you have to take all the blame. You can't just say my teammates did this, my teammates did that, and defer all the responsibility. You have to take all the responsibility.
Yeah, that's true. I love that. I agree with you. I want to ask you, Patty, what is next for you? You are busy with your clients. I know you have a few at the moment. You want more. You can tell the audience about that. And how can we support and elevate you? How can we uplift you? Because we want to assist you and just cheer you on this lovely journey of yours.
Yes. It can't get any better than that free first session on Zoom that I offer. So for any hesitation, it's free. It's no risk to you. I mean, what have you got to lose except improving your performance?
Yeah.
I got a digital course coming out soon, aiming to get it out before Black Friday. We'll see what happens. What's next for me is continuing to grow my clientele, establishing authority.
Beautiful. All of those things are things that are hard work, Patty. We can see that you are a hard worker, and that shines through to the athletes that you work with. You inspire them to do better, to go further, to do more. So I want to commend you on that. And I want to ask you, do you have any final words of wisdom to the audience that you want to leave them with this evening?
Yes. By working with me, it makes the physical game easier. Strengthening your mind, which is your mental game, makes the physical game easier. Athletes are always wondering, how do I make the physical game easier? Well, think about it. It starts with your mind. Strengthen your mind, your physical game will follow.
I absolutely agree with you, and we are thankful. And from me personally, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you are very busy. Thank you for taking the time to spend this evening with us, for bringing your knowledge and your wisdom and your experience, Patty, and we're going to promote you extensively. And thank you for just uplifting us this evening and for adding so much value.
Thank you for having me.
It was wonderful spending time with Patty. She's such a sincere, amazing person. And to the Meticulous Moments podcast audience, I just want to say thank you for joining us. And you know what to do. We are going to make Patty's contact details available. Follow her on social media. Network with her. Book your free 20-minute session with her. And with that, we say good night and see you in the next session. Bye.